to me for the ministry. 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 11. This is close to the point where he tells about those two guys that he's going to tell Satan to kill him. So had that power. This is the John Mark who wrote the Gospel of Mark. He made good, thank God. He gives us a second chance. However, there are at the beginning, John Mark is a failure. He left them and returned to Jerusalem. Meanwhile, Paul and Barnabas go into the interior of Asia Minor. Paul's sermon at Antioch, and this is Antioch at Pisidia, not the Antioch they left in the beginning. But when verse 14, but when they departed from Perga, they came to Antioch in Pisidia, and went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and sat down. And after the reading of the law and the prophets, the rulers of the synagogue sent unto them, saying, Ye men and brethren, if ye have any word or exhortation for the people, say on. Paul follows his method of going first to the synagogue. Jews were scattered throughout the Roman Empire, and they established synagogues in the cities in which they had settled. When visitors would come from Jerusalem, since they would want word from the religious center, they would invite the visitor to say something. This always afforded a marvelous opportunity for the Apostle Paul. He certainly took advantage of it here. This sermon, which Paul preached in Antioch of Pisidia, is one of the great sermons, in my opinion. It is generally passed by today. It is the first recorded sermon of Paul preaching in the synagogue on the Sabbath day. When they asked Paul whether he would like to say something, you can sure that he wants to say something. There was this whole reason for being there. And actually, there's three different sermon types. This is the one. He dealing with the Jews. He does this one. He talks about the history of the Jews. For the pagans, he goes all the way back to in the beginning and tells them about who God of creation is. And then the third method of that he gives of evangelism is he tells his testimony. So by reading these sermons, you can learn how to evangelize yourself. Verse 16, when Paul stood up and beckoned with his hand, said, Men of Israel, and ye that fear God, give audience. One would conclude from this introduction that there were some visitors there, probably Gentile proselytes. And they were supposed to do that, but by and large they didn't do that. They were like Peter, they discriminated against the Gentiles as Gentiles and wouldn't proselyte to them. But they probably found out on their own by attending Solomon's porch. But that would be interesting to in talking to somebody who's a Jew to see what their perspective is on that. And the God of this people of Israel chose our fathers and exalted the people when they dwelt as strangers in the land of Egypt. And with an high arm brought he them out of it. And about the time of 40 years suffered he their manners in the wilderness. And when he had destroyed several nations in the land of Canaan, he divided their land to them by lots. And after that he gave unto them judges about the space of 450 years until Samuel the prophet. Notice that Paul is doing the same thing that Stephen did before the Sanhedrin. He recounts Israel's history as a nation. And so